Hello and welcome to this new episode of the Picturehub Show. I am Costa, the creator, your host, and with me today is Tutsirai Jenje. How are you doing, Tutsi?
I'm awesome, Costa. Thank you so much for having me here.
No, I'm excited to have you here. We've just been seeing you online, at talks and talking.
Yeah.
So, Tutsirai is a branding expert, and this show is about content creators.
Okay.
And we're going to be talking about branding, personal branding, specifically, referring more to creators.
All right.
So, my first question to you is personal brand. What is it? What is a personal brand?
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great question, and a lot of people always ask that. I think for me, in a nutshell, when I look at the word brand in general, it's just a perception. Like how people understand you, how people interpret what you're doing. Just in general, it's a perception of like the first time you walk in or when you've left a room, what are those things that people remain and say when you're gone?
Yeah.
That's what I would say a brand is. Beyond a promise, it's a perception.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess it's what lives in people's minds after you've left, not necessarily what you... But I guess it's part of what you carry as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would say it's a bit of both. So you have to really think about to say, okay, what do I want people to feel when they see me? So it's almost like intentional steps you take so that someone can experience a particular perception about you or your product, whatever it is.
So I remember there's one talk you gave, and you mentioned something that there are people where they introduce themselves to you today, but walking out you won't even remember what they do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tell me more about that. Like, how is it that some people are so memorable? You leave and remember, okay, this person is X, they do X, and their work is amazing. And some, you try and remember, okay, what did that lady say?
Like, what does she do?
What does she do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, this one is something I've also had to learn, Costa, because I think, especially being in Zimbabwe, we've gotten into this idea of, I do everything. Am I allowed to speak in Shona?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, great.
You are.
Like, bata apa. So you'll find that when people are communicating, they don't really think about to say, okay, once I am done, what should people walk away with? There's no intentional, intentional storytelling that we take time to think about and process. So when you're introducing yourself, it's most of us are caught off guard. Like, oh, hi, yes, I do this, I do this. And you mention everything that you do. And you don't intentionally say, I want to be known for this.
Yes.
So because I want to be known for this is what I'm going to highlight. So I'll give myself as an example. I do so many things, but a lot of people, when you mention me, they automatically talk about brand building because that's a narrative I've been intentionally pushing. So I would say it's for you to be memorable. Why don't you give us something to remember? Why don't you take time to intentionally communicate what it is that you do so that by the time people leave, they are clear on what you do? Don't mention so many things. Narrow it down and get that one thing that makes you tick and communicate that. That's what I would say. So it's when you want to be memorable, I think you need to learn to be intentional. Yeah.
So just to take a page from your book, what did you do? Because when you Google your name, it's branding coach,
Absolutely.
branding workshop. It's like the same subject.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's so funny. I think you're the first person who's ever asked me that question. And quite funny because when I was reflecting about a week ago, I actually took time to really look at what I did for that. But I will tell you a story in terms of what happened for that. So I went to a summit, right, an event, and there's a man who went up on stage and he said, right now, this was about 4 years ago. And he said, right now, I want you to take out your phones. And when you take out your phones, I want you to put your name. So I had to say Tutsirai Jenje from Zimbabwe. Wow, Costa. What came out there, I'm so glad you don't see it now. But we all were excited excited in the room. Everyone was like talking, laughing as we were Googling our names.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, the volume, it just got really quiet because we were all shocked as to what we were seeing. Like for me, I was personally shocked. I saw a picture of my dog, like an old dog, and a picture of me in high school. That's what popped up. Then I saw another picture of me at a church camp in a tree with people. I mean, and I had already been in the branding and advertising industry for 10 years.
Wow.
But when I Googled that, that's what came out under Tutsirai Jenje. So I was so busy building everybody else's brand by mine.
Yeah.
But what really helped me, and if you're there, I want you to go right now and Google your name and see what pops up. And this guy said to me, because it got quiet and we kind of got sad, right? Like, woof, what's going on here? Yeah. And he said to me, you've got the power to create your own narrative. It's in your hands. You can actually help Google and the algorithms to make sure that they put in front what you want people to know. Okay. So from that day, 4 years ago, till now, I intentionally post things that align me to that. Yeah. So that when you search my name, I mean, everything is brand building. Yeah. Everything is brand building coach, brand building expert. It was all intentional. And it's been 4 years of building that narrative.
Did you delete the dog pictures?
Well, just say you know, Google, it never gets deleted. It's floating around somewhere there. Okay. But yeah.
And I like the fact that it's coming from a personal journey.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like it's relatable.
Yeah.
Now, what do I do? I'm Costa the creator, you know, or Tendai the creator, or whoever, you know. What can I start doing? Like, what are the 3 steps, first steps in trying to fix that brand image?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant question. I would say, I think the first thing is outside from people's, it starts within, right? Behind closed doors. Yeah. I would say the first thing for you is I'd love for you to just go to your home, wherever you're most comfortable, right? And begin to think some deep questions. So these are some of the questions I've asked myself. Like the first thing you would ask is to say, okay, what do I want to be known for? Mm-hmm. When I say my name, like I love one of my coaches who once said to me, if we were to write, you know, an obituary about you and you're gone, you know, what do you want it to be about? So think about that. Like, what do you want to be known for? Yes, it may be on a personal level. And then if it's a personal brand, if we mention your name, what do you want people to say? Yeah. That's the best place to start. Yeah. Because when you're clear about what you want people to say, when you're clear about what the end game is, it will help you align what you do here, right? Yeah. So when your vision is very clear, it actually aligns your path. You automatically, so what I mean by that is, for example, there may be people who may call me to do different things, right? But I strategically check, okay, what direction is taking me to my goal? What direction is building onto what I want to be known for?
Here, are you saying that if it doesn't align, don't do it?
That's what I'm all about.
What if I need bread on the table? What happens
Well,
then?
so this is the thing, Costa. Yeah. When you need bread on the table, I mean, we all do things that need bread on the table. Yeah. For example, there are things I sell, right? Yeah. But it's not going to be on the forefront of my profile. Okay. It's not going to be where I am building a narrative. Like, you're not going to see me putting it everywhere. Yeah. You can find me probably in your inbox like, hey, did you know I sell hair? I sell whatever. Yeah. But you're not going to see it all over my statuses, all over my social media, because there's a specific intentional building I want to do. So this is not for the faint-hearted. If you want your Google algorithm to shift what people say about you, it is going to take sacrifice. Yeah. I mean, I would love to talk about other things. Yeah. I promise. Yeah. But because there's an end goal and there's something I'm trying to build intentionally, I will even choose my words intentionally. Okay. You'll even see a picture of me on holiday and I will find a way to connect it with branding. So I've shown people, yes, I've gone on holiday, but I will find a way to bring it back to my message, if that makes sense.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's step number 1.
That's step number 1.
Think deeply.
Yes, think deeply. Where do you want to go? What you want to be known for? Number 2, I would then say act do what you're saying. So yes, you've said this is what I want to be known for, but what can you do already within your power? So for example, there's some of us, I know everybody's like, okay, but I'm not online or whatever. You actually are. When we look at your WhatsApp profile right now, your picture, what does it look like? You don't need money to look nice and ask a cousin to take a picture with their iPhone. You know,
Or
you
come
don't
to
need a
Picturehub
studio.
as well, you know.
Come to Picturehub. Come to Picturehub. But at the end of the day, your actual phone, you can start changing your image there, right? Your social media, don't shout at people. Don't have a fight with your friend. And then now on your status, it says, God knows it all. You know those statuses where everyone is fighting on status. Don't do that. Why don't you intentionally speak about things you want to be known for, right? I have, why don't you, so you've changed your WhatsApp profile picture or your social media, it's yours. It's your social media. So you can actually use your social media to get your message across faster. So you don't really, even for those of us who don't have a page, you don't have to have a business page. Your personal page, you can intentionally begin to tell your story and not necessarily use just, the normal media that we use all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, this is very interesting. What would you say, and it's going somewhere.
Okay.
What would you say the three characteristics, or what key characteristics of a good brand? Or good personal brand.
A good personal brand. Okay. A good personal brand is, firstly, they're very clear where they are going.
You know what they stand
know what they stand for. But then the second thing that makes it super powerful is that they know the people they bring value to, right? If I always say this, if you do not have a clear understanding of who your ideal client is, who your brand is made for. Yes, you're your personal brand. There are people that will gain the most value from you. If you are clear on outlining who those people are, I promise you, your brand is going to be incredible. So, for example, I always say this to people to say, if you're selling soccer shoes, right? And then you go stand somewhere maybe where people are buying ice cream, or you go to a massage parlor, or somewhere that's just not such a good fit for those shoes. You may think that they don't have value, or it's not working. What you're doing is not working. But maybe you're going to go to a place where a preschool or a primary school, high school, where people are actually playing soccer and all the soccer moms are there, and you pull a young man who's the best in there and you give him your pair of soccer shoes and you say to people, these are really awesome. You'll probably get more sales, right? Than just going to random places. So the same with your personal brand. You've got to know who are the people that get the most from you, the most value. That if they meet you and interact with you, they're like, wow, this was awesome. When you then understand and get those kind of people, it makes your brand powerful because you are clear about the ideal client you're trying to reach to, the ideal client you're trying to get their attention, and the ideal client that you're actually going to genuinely give them something of value. So those are the things I would say. So firstly, you're very clear who you are. Secondly, you're clear who you bring the most value to. You said you want 3. Thirdly, I think for any brand, you must be clear what it is you want to build. How big do you want it to get, right? So you will find that there are people who may be a personal brand, but as they keep going, they branch out into different things. So for example, your Oprah's, right? Yes, TV show host, but went into magazine, now doing production. Now, I mean, her brand is reaching out to different areas right now, different touch points, but it's all emanating from her. So I think also just not focusing on the now. I would say focus on legacy, focus on where is this going, because the longer your brand is in use, the further you project, you'll actually find that the better momentum you begin to build because you know where you're going. You don't live your brand for today. You're like, okay, 25 years from now, where do I want this brand to be? And begin to shoot forward to there.
And then bringing it back to creators. And I've had this dilemma myself.
Okay.
and I haven't found a solution for it yet. Maybe we can
I hope.
help. So our business is content production, right?
Okay.
So we have the corporate side where we do your voiceovers, your podcasts, commercials, films, etc. And then there's the personal side where we do family stuff and sometimes weddings and all of that. And you are providing, I mean, to the clients who come and say they want a family shoot or whatever, they're getting value which they enjoy, you know. And I found when you go to the corporate side,
Yeah.
they also are getting products that they identify with and enjoy.
Absolutely.
And I found it difficult to mix the two
Yeah.
to a point where you find if you just look at our Instagram, it's just family. You wouldn't know that we do TV commercials or you
yeah.
see.
Yeah.
And then if you look at our LinkedIn,
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't know that we do the other side.
Yeah.
Maybe on the website, but the website now I've kind of tailored it more to the corporate
The
side.
corporate side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now how do you navigate? Because I know I'm not the only one going
Yeah.
through this.
Yeah.
Because on the other end, I'm thinking, okay, my Instagram's got about 9,000 people, 9,000 followers. And am I not losing by not somehow
Getting them in there, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, even if you are an MD, FD,
Yeah,
in the
you've got a
corporate,
family.
you've got a family.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
How do you manage that?
All right, that one is a brilliant question, and all of us are there.
Yeah.
For me, what's really helped me is to firstly understand to say that it is possible as a single brand, right, to have multiple ideal clients. We in our world we normally call it client avatar, right? Where you break down who your client avatar is.
Yeah.
And it's very possible for you to have multiple client avatars. So what I mean by that, it's very possible to have multiple types of people you serve in the market. So firstly, I would want you to breathe in and out. I know you're normal. You're absolutely normal. It's okay to be like that. It's actually okay, right? Because you can't force your brand to say our brand is this. When you take it to the market will show you where it's seeping in and the gaps are. So for this one, I'd like to probably do this teaching where you've got to understand that there's what we call a branded house, okay? Or a house of brands. These are two types of brands that can happen. So a branded house will be something like FedEx. You know how they've got FedEx, the logo, then they've got FedEx Freight, FedEx Quick, FedEx whatever. Everything is called FedEx, but it's in what? In segments. So there's one for planes, there's one for ships, but it's all called FedEx something. That's what we call a branded house. This is when there's one umbrella term in everybody, all the names falls under with the same name. So it's very possible to say Picturehub can have multiple segments of it, and it's normal. It's totally okay. We've seen people do it and it works. Then the second one is called a house of brands. This is something like Unilever. People don't know sometimes, unless you know, some people may not know that Lifebuoy, Dove soap, Domestos, No Soup, all those brands come from Unilever, right? But they've got different logos, they've got different colors, they've got different everything. In fact, they're independent of each other because there's no way that you're going to take Domestos
You'd actually think
and
they're
No
different
Soup.
companies.
People who actually don't know, hi,
Yeah.
you now know. Some people actually don't know that they are the same company. So that is what we call a house of brands. This is when you've got multiple brands. I myself have got a house of brands where I've got Artworks Advertising, then I've got the Step Out program, then I've got the Bordeaux Medical Center. Someone who knows me wouldn't know I own all those brands because they're so different. Medical Center, advertising, what is she doing? But there's an understanding to say you can have a house of brands. So all that needs to happen for you, or let's say for Picturehub.
Yeah.
Picturehub can actually, nobody stops it from having Picturehub and a little thingy at the bottom that says family. Picturehub corporate. This just means you are putting everything in a segment. You're not putting those clients away, but you are intentionally setting them in their place, which I feel you've already done. For example, Instagram, you said it's mostly the family shoots. LinkedIn, it's mostly the corporate, which it makes sense because also depending on the platform. So you go to where your client is found. So, and corporates are at LinkedIn, and a lot of people who are families and so forth are at Instagram spaces and everything. So that's what I would say to you. It's totally okay. Just realize what type of brand you are. Are you a branded house or you're a house of brands? And you can be both of those things. So it's, I mean, there's no limit. You can be both of those things.
So, what would you say are the pitfalls? Because now, when you're trying to juggle house of brands, you know,
absolutely.
How, like, what are the like things that you'd say these are
to
like,
look out for?
Yeah,
sure. So when we're looking at your house of a branded house, right, which we said FedEx, right? FedEx needs to pay me, but anyway, but like, let's say FedEx, right? So, or let's say Picturehub, right, is one name and everything is falling under it. Picturehub family, Picturehub corporate, Picturehub safari, whatever it may be.
Railways,
airlines. So this is these type of brands are, I would say the good things about them is you're putting all your money into one brand. You're pushing Picturehub because all the funds are going in there. And then you're having the multiple, facets of it. The only disadvantage I would say for brands like this is if Picturehub messes up, that is your entire line. So that one, unfortunately, if Picturehub gets hit, it's literally all your facets to it, because everyone's like, what's happened to Picturehub? And we've seen that happening in Zimbabwe, where various brands go through this and automatically everyone doesn't want to use the brand, yet it's got so many facets to it. So if one facet of your brand messes up, you're in trouble. So this type of branding, you have to make sure that your PR is on point. Then the branded house one, where it's like Unilever, the one of the advantages is if one messes up, it doesn't necessarily hit back to you that loud, right? Unless people start digging, but it doesn't really hit back to you. And then the advantage of it is as well, that's the advantage. The disadvantage of that is you split up funds. The same amount of money, the same amount of money you've put for Unilever, you've got to put the same for Doves, you've got to put the same for No Soup, for Domestos. So Ipapo, you've really got to have a strong pocket. That's the only thing about House of Brands, because everybody, you can't make a brand ride on the other one. They want to see it in its own form because it's independent. So that's what I would say you should watch out for should you want to do either of the brands. The styles.
And how, like, what tools would you recommend to stay consistent?
Stay consistent.
Because I know you mentioned you're a speaker, like I can see it now. It's just flowing out. But I'm say I'm not like that. I'm an introvert, but I've got this product. It's really good. Maybe I like there's a thing that you actually mentioned on one of your talks where you're like, you'll find that creators are good at shouting for other people's brands. But when it comes to their own brands, it's like
it's tough.
It's terrible. How do you manage that? I'm not good at talking. I'm not good at. I don't write.
You're good.
I'm just saying, someone feels like that somewhere.
No creators understand.
For myself, but I mean, when it's someone else, I can get a team. I can. How can creatives or creators start? What can they do, or tools they can use to try and get that consistent message? Because you have to be saying something somehow.
You do. I think before in terms of like the tools for them to use, one of the tools that can happen as well is networking. Networking, I feel, put me in the corner, like pushed me to communicate what I do, because like when you're in those rooms, if you can get somewhere, anything that is happening, I know as creatives, because I'm a graphic designer by profession, I loved being behind the computer and you're creating stuff and whatever. But sometimes at some point when you really want your brand to be out there, go out and network. If there are events happening, find out what's going on that goes well with what you're doing. Even those marketing spaces, go there. Because networking pushes you to actually say what you do and to really actively think about, what am I going to tell this person that's going to make them choose me, type of thing, or get my number and remember it, right? The second thing I would say is, so you've gotten, and also intentionally invest in, for example, if you see that you're not so good at speaking, let's say, which you're good at it, so don't worry. You're one person actually who's an introvert, but you've managed. I mean, look at what you've built. But that took you, it's uncomfortable, but it took you to go to that. And I'm sure you probably invested in just understanding how to speak with people and things like that. So I would say, because of not social media, sorry, the digital space, read up on things like that. I mean, there are free courses on LinkedIn even. Just check, how do you speak to people? How do you win with people? If there are any people who should learn how to deal with people on this earth, it's creatives, because we deal with people on a daily basis. So you need to learn that. I would say use tools like your LinkedIn Learning. Go online. YouTube is a fantastic tool. Go on there and find how to speak, for me, most of the stuff I learned, especially around speaking, was online. So it's all online and it's free.
Okay.
So start there, and then eventually get to a point where you invest in yourself as well. Pay for those courses, go and attend them, etc. Then I would say the other tool you can use as well, especially if you see you're not so good at something, collaborate with people. Get hooked up with people who are probably good on the side that you're not so good. Because at the end of the day, guys, at some point you will have to invest in your brand. You will have to pay somebody else to do something. So you can start it yourself, fine, but then invest in people who are strong at your weak points. That's what I would say.
So, to put you on the spot.
Oh my goodness.
It's a networking event.
No.
It's a networking event. Give us an example. Okay, this is how you would do it.
How I would do it.
Yeah. So,
sure.
So you're going to be in character now.
Okay,
and
cool.
you shouldn't break character.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm at a networking event.
Yes.
Have they asked me to stand up and introduce myself? I'm someone. Okay. Oh, hi, Costa. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
Great. I'm great. How did you enjoy that session?
It was very wonderful.
What really stood out for you today?
I'm not the one.
No, I'm just saying I was flowing. What stood out for you today? Then let's say you answer me, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, that's great. So what are you into? What do you do? They tell me what they do. And I come in, they say to me, what do you do? I'm like, oh, okay, well, as a result of what I do, numerous entrepreneurs from all over the world have managed to build signature legacy brands that sell. So I help them catch the attention of their ideal clients. I come up with digital solutions that they're able to catch the attention of those ideal clients through branding and through them gaining confidence to step out into their markets. So that is really what I do.
Okay, like so basis. I sell trucks. How can I be able to,
Great. Where are your trucks? Where do they move from there to there?
Well, we sell trucks for people who are into logistics and whatnot.
And you sell them in Harare?
Yes.
Oh, that's brilliant. I think the first thing I would ask you is, like, some of the clients you have now, where are you getting them from already? The ones you have now?
Mostly relationships.
Relationships.
Referrals. We don't really have an online presence.
You don't have an online presence. Yeah. Okay, so obviously the online presence is definitely something that you can add on to the relationships that you already have right now. I would say can I quickly give you my card and we can just arrange to have a meeting? I love to really sit down and break down your company to see where you are. And then I give tailor-made solutions. So I normally don't give blanket solutions because brands are different. And I really want to take time to get to know my clients. So I'll sit down with you, see where you are, and then we will take the necessary steps to get to where you want to be, and we can see how that looks like.
Line. I'm telling you.
So me, that's how I.
Okay. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Because I know I would definitely want to give you time and sit down and hear what you have to say.
To say, okay, she wants to give me time. Oh, okay. She wants to know what all right. Let's see where this goes.
Okay.
So most I've seen from my meetings, any networking event I go to, without fail, I will have at least 5 people most of the time who I always then have a call with.
Like the finance person in me is like, are you billing for this?
For what?
This consultation.
Right. So what I normally do, I give 30 minutes free consultation.
Do you make it known that it's a free consultation?
Yes.
And
I actually, because after I have a meeting with them, I give them a link. And on my link, they tell me a bit about their business because I don't like meeting someone and I have no idea what they do because we'll waste time.
So before you meet them, they fill in something?
Yes, it's just digital. They fill it in and very simple Google form. They fill it in, give me information about them, and it notes that they've got a 30-minute free consult.
Wow.
So now that 30-minute free consult is actually more for me than for them because I have I want to fully understand my clients because I want to make sure that I'm serving them well because money will, it actually then comes from there, but I also want them to, I want to make sure that I give them at least one major breakthrough of some sort. The way they can say, since we started working with Tutsi, this happened. And I've seen it's worked for me. So I don't even give myself pressure to say, I want to do this. I give myself one major goal that they will remember to say, look, after we met this girl, this happened. And I'm happy. If I get more than one, brilliant. But I focus on one major goal.
Happens? I've had conversations with some creatives and there's this whole, no, it's a free consult every time. If you keep doing that, some people just come for the ideas,
All right.
and they never come back.
All right.
Like, how do you handle that?
That, I'm so happy you asked me this question. So what do we do now that I'm giving you my secrets? Y'all won't miss. And I'm like, but I'll give you this anyways. So what I normally do, I give them the what, like what they should do. I never tell them the why. I never tell them the how.
The how, okay.
I'll give them the what. In terms of, I'll look at their brand and say, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. I will never tell them how to do that because my how is what I now get paid for. So I'll give you an example. You've come to me, you said you've got a truck business and whatever. I'll say to you, you know what? Looking at your truck business, when I check the algorithm online, truck businesses are doing very well on, let's say, Instagram, right? I noticed they're doing very well on Instagram. What you need to do is to open up your Instagram, right? And this is true. They should. I'll show them the stats. Also, make sure when you are doing that consult, be well researched for their industry. Understand it even more than them. That's why I don't like just meeting someone at random. I want to sit down and see where their brand is and see where the loopholes are. Because remember, I focus on one major thing I can give them that they will never forget to say, we got this from Tutsi. After you do that, you tell them what needs to happen. What needs to happen? You need to open up your pages. I'm seeing you need to open up this, and this. You need to this, da, 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 da. But I'll never tell them how. Because now when they're on that page, it's like, yeah, we've got the page now. Now what?
Exactly.
Now, that is what I get paid for. So when you do your consult, strategically tell them what they need to do. The how is your paid. Yeah.
So because do you then pitch to them? But I guess this is now more of your business.
Anyway. No. You sure? No, go ahead. Ask.
Do you then, in that moment, tell them, okay, this is what you need to pay for? Do you make it clear to, okay, this is what you need to do, but for us to engage, this is what I charge, this is what I can do for you?
Yes. So what I then do at the end is to say to them, there will be a watch list of what needs to happen. Then I'll tell them what the cost is.
Okay.
Because you've got to allow someone to do the numbers, to say, okay, for me to engage into this relationship, what are the costs? And that's something I would like to tell creatives as well. We don't do this very well. Creators, I don't know whether we feel bad for pricing. I don't know what happens. I used to do that.
Afraid of money.
Yeah, I used to be like, what would make me feel bad is Kutinda Garapas and I made a logo in 30 minutes. Then I'm like, but I'm charging someone. Like, I don't know what would happen.
Yeah.
But the question is, how many mistakes did you make over the years to be able to do a logo in 30 minutes?
The real question is, Tutsi, how much are you charging people to feel bad?
No, it's like because of costs in general. You can sometimes feel like, hey, this took me 10 minutes to do this. But that is what you are getting paid
the
for.
Knowledge and
That's
experience.
the knowledge, the experience, the failures, the mistakes you made. And now Kutu, when I'm dealing with this kind of a brand, this is what I do. And for me, honestly, I am no longer afraid of charging. I charge what I charge, like boldly. Because what I'll also say to people, for you also to remove that feeling bad and whatever, when you charge people, give it your all. Like, also beef up your skill set so that when people are paying you something, you give them more in value than what they've given you in monetary value. Because when you make sure that you push the envelope on giving people value, I promise the money then just starts coming. It just starts coming because you are on a principle that anyone else in the world uses. If you take people's money, then you don't meet up on the value side. Trust me, one day it's just going to catch up and people will get into this mode of you understood that type of thing. So don't get caught in that. Make sure you take the money, but give people more in value.
So in conclusion, I think you're sharing a lot of valuable things, and I feel like I'm actually going to pause this and actually write down a script and practice it.
Okay.
You coach.
Yes.
How can creators be able to access this? Because I feel like not just creators, I feel like a lot of small businesses could benefit from
absolutely
the wisdom you're sharing.
Absolutely.
I mean, imagine if this is the free stuff. What's behind
it?
Paid.
Thank you so much for that compliment. For me, any of my social media channels, you go on there. If you send me a message, we respond.
So you could actually it's like a one-on-one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Good. So I do have group classes that I do, but those are depending on we launch them per there's a short period of time we do them. They're 6-week courses, and we launch them over 3 months and things like that. However, I do have one-on-one coaching that I do. So if you reach out at Tutsirai Jenje on all my platforms, I'll be able to to reach out and see. But I would also want to say, if you specifically have if you're going to reach out from having watched this Picturehub. So if you come in and you say Picturehub and ask for a consult, anyone coming from Picturehub, I'll give them a free consult for an hour. Only people who are coming from Picturehub. So if you go at Tutsirai Jenje, you first write Picturehub and then you say you'd like a consult, I'll give you a free consult. Only for the people from this channel.
Does that include me as
well? Of course. He already had his consult right now, but
no, this is for the masses.
It was for the masses. No, it's fine. Sure. Anyone from Picturehub, I definitely will do that.
All right. Cool. Thank you so much for taking the time.
You're welcome.
And thank you so much for tuning in, and see you in the next one.
Awesome.
Picturehub is a fully fledged content creation studio based in Harare, Zimbabwe. At our core, we are storytellers with a focus on film production, photography, and voice recording. We believe that the essence of any organization, corporate brand, or individual is a well-curated story. Our passion lies in bringing these stories to life authentically with undeniable excellence. Our portfolio includes television commercials, web series, documentaries, podcasts, and voice recordings. For more information, visit our website www.picturehubzim.com or email info@picturehubzim.com for inquiries.